reflection I have from you comes from my experience when I worked in the prison. And like all prisoners who are reaching the end of their time, Pat was granted a weekend furlough to visit his home. At this stage, so close to the end of his incarceration, there is no danger that he would abscond. If he did, he would jeopardize all the time he had accused for good behavior. So to do something stupid would be totally reckless at this stage. Pat was terribly anxious about leaving the prison on his own. It was 14 years hence since he roamed the streets on his own. Indeed, crossing the road was an ordeal because the traffic was a lot heavier and seemed to be 50 times faster than he remembered. He persevered because he was anxious to be with his wife, Maureen, who had been very faithful to him all through his prison sentence, never missing one of the 2-week visits that was allowed her. During the evening meal with his family, he relaxed and was enjoying the freedom of not having to ask permission for everything. That night he slept in the spare room and enjoyed the softness of the sheets and pillows. In the morning he washed and showered beautifully hot water and a super soft, sweet-smelling towel to dry himself. He never realized how soft fabrics could be and that he would appreciate immensely and savor the fragrance of home laundering. He woke at his normal 6:30 and began his ablutions. After he dressed, he sat on the bed, and while he moved to the armchair in the room and began flicking through the magazines. He got bored of this and started reading a book that caught his eye. He stared at the bedroom door every now and then, hoping for it to be opened. In his institutional mind, he did not realize he could actually open the door. He had lived for 14 years in a world where only prison officers had the power to open the door, and it was always locked immediately behind him. At 10:30 there was a knock on the door. Maureen popped in her head saying, "Pat, are you coming down to breakfast?" "How long have you been sitting there?" Pat answered, "Since about 7. Maureen said incredulously, "Why on earth didn't you come downstairs?" "I had to wait for the door to be opened," Pat replied. Maureen stepped into the room and pointed to the handle, saying, "You can open the door from the inside." And that's what God has been telling us over and over again. We have the handle that opens to his life. But it's on the inside, only we can open it. He'll never force his way in. And so this Advent, are we going to open the door to God and let him into our lives?